Last two notes here to hit are more broad points. The All NBA and awards now, it looks like, are going to be 65 games or more in order to qualify for these. I think this is stupid, if I'm being completely honest.
I think there will be some exceptions to make it a little more semi-permeable. If I remember back to my biology classes in terms of cell membranes, but I do wonder what the unintended consequences are going to be.
Yeah, so like, our good colleague John Hollinger wrote an idea that like will we see some like shenanigans like Drew Holiday coming in and just like playing for 30 seconds in order to get his $225,000 bonus? I think it was 2 years ago. Maybe, like, wouldn't stun me if that was the case. But he said after the story was published, he was told by a well-connected source there will be provisions to guard against this type of shenanigan. I think that we should just give voters, the leeway to be able to make these decisions. Like, I think this is just silly. Like, don't do this. The other thing that
it's not about the voters, though. That's the thing. It's about the NBA trying to get their star players to play more often. That's what it all comes down to.
That's 100% right. And by the way, like the fact that these measures, by all reports still, we haven't seen anything to the contrary yet, are still not connected or are still connected, I'm sorry, to, whether or not you make an all NBA team, whether or not you win MVP, whether or not you win defensive player of the year, that basically qualifies you for Supermax language or qualifies you for certain things. I don't like the idea of forcing guys to play potentially when they're hurt because of there could be like $40 million on the line if you don't play like the final 3 games of the year because you missed 18 earlier in the year, missed 15 earlier in the year. Right.
Yeah. To me, it's like, interesting. Like how teams approach this. Like will teams, well, 2 things. Will teams, like, because they're the ones who are the majority of the players, maybe not like a Kawhi, but like majority of the players, the teams handle the load management schedule, for lack of a better phrasing for it, right? They're the ones who approach the players and say, hey, we want you to sit out this amount of games this season, or, we think like your load based on our internal metrics is saying like you probably need a break or you're not fully at capacity, like whatever it is.
Yep.
Will the teams just be less likely to say something now, right? Maybe even when it is like on the margins detrimental to the player, right? Like not in a sense of like, hey, you're going to blow out your knee, but just like you won't play as well or something like that. Like it's going to be interesting to me how like team performance staffs handle all this. Like I know no one really cares about the team performance staffs, but it's going to be interesting to me how they handle all of this, right? Because now you have a lot of competing interests. You have the team, you have the player, you have your own job, right? Like all these things are going to be interesting to me. I don't know how that's going to play out. Like I just legit have no idea. It's just something I wonder how it will go. And obviously, if these things are tied to all NBA, MVP voting, DPOY, like all of these awards, and we have contracts with incentive structures based on these awards, what kind of shenanigans can we see?
Yeah, I think we might see quite a few, if I'm being completely honest.
For both teams and players, both of them.
Yeah, no, it's not just going to be on one side. It's absolutely going to be on 2. Okay, and then the final thing here before we get out of here is play-in tournament, or what? Not the play-in tournament, the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
So there's an in-season tournament that could arrive as soon as next season. It will include pool play, like baked into the regular season schedule starting in November. 8 teams will advance to a single elimination tournament in December. Final 4 held at a neutral site with Las Vegas prominent in the discussion. I think it's that all of the players get like $500,000 if they win the in-season tournament. So, real financial incentive to give a shit about this thing. I don't know, man. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't dislike it or like it, I guess. Like, it could be something that could be fun. It could be something that I'm here for the content of the in-season tournament. I'm sure that I will get branded opportunities for the podcast to break down the in-season tournament in the NBA. But like, it seems fine. It seems like a fine addition.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a European soccer fan, and like when the European soccer tournaments, what make them interesting to me at least, is like I'm a Chelsea fan. When they're playing in Champions League, they're playing a team from Spain or from Italy, a team that they would not otherwise play, right, in the course of just in-season play. And that's what makes it interesting to me. I don't know how the NBA gets across that line and makes it interesting.
Well, like, so here's the question. Like, how much do you care about the FA Cup?
I care about the FA Cup when it gets to the highest levels, right? Like when usually you're in a semifinal or a quarterfinal and you're playing a team that's in the championship round or in the championship league or like the EPL itself. But even that, you're talking about like thousands of teams, and there's still a high likelihood that your team is not going to play a team they normally play, right? Like to me, it's something like the Carling Cup, which I don't know, whatever. Like I don't know how the NBA makes it interesting for fans. I'm sure they've got a plan in place. We'll see what the application is. You see how they're going to try to make it interesting for teams. In the WNBA, it seems like their version of this was a success, at least amongst teams early on. But there's also a financial bonus there, and their finances are not what they are for NBA players too, right? I don't know. I'm more skeptical of the in-season tournament. To me, if I had to guess, I think it's a smart way. This is not reporting, but just me thinking it through. It's like it seems like a smart way to attach another TV package or rights package and sell it off to someone, right? Like, hey, buy the rights Amazon for our in-season tournament, get the Final Four and all that stuff.
I actually do wonder if they look at this as like a potential, maybe the word is like a potential testing ground for a streamer, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like maybe you do give this to Amazon, and I think that they're gonna like this does not come from reporting either. Just to be clear, I think they're gonna keep like the same like status quo broadcast. Like maybe they don't keep the same partners, but I think they're gonna have a heavy broadcast component. I cannot see a world where they go like fully down the road of streamers at this point for the NBA, unless the RSN market just like completely falls off. And the streamers are the ones like paying the exorbitant dollar amounts, which not impossible, but you would know this better. Like, does all of this sound right in terms of what I'm saying?
I think they'll have a streaming partner of some sort in the next media rights deal for 2025. The nice thing is if this in-season, well, the nice thing for them doesn't matter to me. The nice thing for them is if it comes into play next season, how are they going to handle that? Like, is that another kind of thing they can sell off, to your point? Like there's two teams that are going to play 83 games. Does someone get that 83rd game? Do we put on Apple TV and see how that goes or something like that?
Right. They had to sell off the play-in tournament too when they did that, right? They didn't just give that to ESPN, I don't think, right?
No, because those are like completely outside of the schedule of the regular season. Right. And you're right. And so like I'll be curious to see who gets the rights to these, because at least the early part of I think I have this right. The early part of the play-in tournament is still part of the regular season. They just like kind of get counted for both things. Well, this is the other thing. We got to see the rules for all these. But yeah, I think with the next TV deal, I think there will be a streamer involved in some sort of way for sure.
I think it'll be involved in some sort of way. I just feel like the biggest part of it is going to be the broadcast side still. Like I think we are one TV deal away from like going nuts on the streamer side still.
Yeah. I think that'll be the anchor, but you'll need internet to watch some basketball games.
Yeah, which I'm all for. As someone who watches the basketball only on the internet, I am all for it. Please just like go all to streaming. Like that'd be great for me. But I don't see that happening for all of my beautiful American friends, of which I'm in your country right now. And I guess I'm in my country because I'm still a citizen of this country.